This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
These days, news seems to come from all directions, and it can be overwhelming. Simplify your intake by watching news from where you live. WJFW NBC News Watch 12. We deliver critical local and national news, sports highlights, and weather updates. Watch us daily on Channel 12. Visit us at WJFW.com or like us on Facebook. We are NBC News Watch 12. Your weather forecast 24/7 on WJFW.com.
Right now on News Watch 12 today, President Donald Trump became the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. Well, after being charged with incitement of insurrection. We'll explain exactly what that means. Plus,
if you're looking forward to a good snowfall, I may have some bad news for a few of you. Your full forecast is coming up.
We need to do everything that we can right now to prepare for a safe and smooth transition of power.
And 8 days have passed since the riot at the U.S. Capitol, and preparations to keep the Biden inauguration safe amid threats are underway. It's Thursday, January 14th.
Your local news and weather from where you live. News Watch 12 today starts now.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Marissa Silvas here with Peter Dubois. And Peter, yesterday we had another warm day as far as Wisconsin winter standards go, and it really wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was nice to, kind of run some errands. I was only wearing a sweatshirt yesterday when I was out and about, so enjoying those warmer temperatures. But sounds like we do have some weather on the way. For more on that, let's head on over.
Yes, for more on that, let's head
right on over to our weather center with Devin Biggs.
Hey, Peter. So, yes, and Marissa, my goodness, it's been a crazy few hours here in the weather department where we had some big changes in the forecast overnight for a few of you. The accumulations have shifted south, and now lesser amounts are possible across parts of Oneida and Vilas counties, just to name a few counties. Let's start things off at the very beginning. We have a little bit of fog across the region this morning. Marathon County, 4 to 5 miles, and farther north you go, things overall looking pretty good. Now the advisories. You can see the winter storm warnings off toward the west. We're under winter weather advisories that kick in this afternoon, and that will expire when you head toward your Saturday. Let's zoom things out and give you the big picture. The system has not only slowed down, but we're going to have to deal with some dry air intrusion also, and that is why we're seeing lower amounts possible across our northern counties. Temperatures are cool out there this morning in the teens, even a few lower 20s to upper 20s down toward the south. Your remote learning forecast for today. Most of today will be quiet. Temperatures warming up pretty nicely in the lower 30s by the afternoon period. Your full forecast is coming up.
President Trump has now become the only U.S. president to be impeached twice. The House voted 232 to 197 to impeach President Trump for his role in inciting the deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. 10 House Republicans crossed the aisle and voted with their Democratic colleagues in favor of impeachment, and that number marks the most votes by a president's own party to support impeachment. The vote comes just 13 months after the first. There were several hours of debate from both sides, leading to the decision of the single article of impeachment for incitement of insurrection exactly 1 week after the deadly riots at the U.S. Capitol. And Wisconsin's Republican representatives all voted against the impeachment, including Tom Tiffany. Here's some of what he had to say on the floor.
Madam Speaker, Joe Biden has talked about unity and healing. Is that what this is today? Is accusing Republican lawmakers of sedition and calling for their expulsion the plan for healing?
All of Wisconsin's Democratic representatives, including Representative Ron Kind, voted in favor of the impeachment.
If what happened last Wednesday is not an impeachable offense, there is no impeachable offense. I suspect there's going to be bipartisan support this time in Congress for it.
Kind added if this were a secret ballot, he believes the impeachment would have had a majority of Republican support. Well, tensions remain high in the country following last week's domestic terrorism at the U.S. Capitol. Washington, D.C. officials are preparing for potential terror threats in the days leading up to President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. John Lawrence has our report.
More than 20,000 National Guard troops are expected to help keep Washington, D.C. secure as President-elect Joe Biden is sworn into office. That's more than triple the number of active duty U.S. troops in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria combined.
We need to do everything that we can right now to prepare for a safe and smooth transition of power on January 20th.
The U.S. Secret Service is in charge of security for Biden's inauguration, and one goal is to prevent another riot like the one last week at the U.S. Capitol.
This is an organized domestic terrorist threat that the country is facing.
On Wednesday, the White House released a taped statement calling on the country to be calm.
Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification for violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws.
President Donald Trump also said the people involved in last week's siege on the Capitol will be brought to justice.
Mob violence goes against everything I believe in.
Numerous arrests have been made since the riot, and 31 Democratic members of Congress have asked for an investigation into reports that groups of people were given tours of the Capitol one day ahead of the attack. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now, in addition to the concerns in Washington, D.C., an internal FBI bulletin warns law enforcement agencies all across the country about armed protests being planned at all 50 state capitals in the coming days.
A 52-year-old Wisconsin man is among those arrested for last week's breaching of the U.S. Capitol building. The FBI arrested Kevin Loftus on Tuesday in Eau Claire. He faces 2 federal misdemeanors, violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. The FBI says Loftus posted a Facebook picture inside the Capitol and wrote, quote, one of 700 inside. He was allowed to leave the courthouse after his first appearance on Tuesday, although while awaiting trial, Loftus must wear an ankle monitor, limit his travel, and he cannot use guns or attend protests in person. His next court appearance is set for Friday. Wisconsin health officials say a new, more contagious form of COVID-19 has now been detected in Eau Claire County. The DHS says the variant was detected through routine genome sequencing of specimens collected in testing. The variant form of the virus was first discovered in England late last year. The variant has since turned up in Colorado, California, Florida, and a few other states. Health officials say the variant isn't any more deadly than the original strain of COVID-19, and early research shows the vaccines should be effective against it. The U.S. set another record with over 4,300 COVID-19 related deaths reported yesterday. That's according to the latest numbers from Johns Hopkins University. Meanwhile, Wisconsin saw about 2,100 new confirmed cases, bringing our daily average for the week down to about 2,600. DHS also reported 37 new deaths. That brings our average for the last week down to about 30 per day. And in our 12-county north central Wisconsin region, we're slowly trending in the right direction. DHS reporting 88 people in our region in the hospital with COVID-19 right now, 29 in the ICU. As we take a closer look at our local numbers, the Oneida County Health Department reports 17 new cases. Its active total is at 189. Since Monday, Vilas County reported 27 new cases with an active to 151. Price County reports 8 new cases, no new cases in Forest County, 7 new cases reported in Langlade County. Lincoln County reported 6 new cases. Its active total is at 105. Marathon County reported 53 new cases. Its active total is more than 1,100. 16 new cases in Portage County. Its active total at 178. 9 new cases in Clark County and 26 cases in Wood County. Its active total stands at 281. A state board has suspended the license of a Wisconsin pharmacist accused of ruining more than 500 doses of COVID-19 vaccine because he thought it was unsafe. Stephen Brandenburg was working at Advocate Aurora Health in Grafton when he was arrested last month. The arrest followed an investigation into the 57 spoiled vials of the Moderna vaccine. He has not been criminally charged. The Wisconsin Pharmacy Examining Board said on Wednesday that Brandenburg cannot practice pharmacy while suspended. The board's order says Brandenburg agreed to the suspension in order to focus on possible charges against him. Governor Evers called a special legislative session for next week on his plan to modernize the state's unemployment claims system. Evers introduced a bill on Wednesday that calls for the State Department of Workforce Development to conduct all transactions electronically and hands the department $5.3 million to renovate and modernize the claims system. He issued an executive order calling for a special session on the bill to begin at noon on Tuesday. Evers has sustained heavy criticism from Republicans for months over the department's inability to process a massive backlog of unemployment claims that was sparked by coronavirus pandemic-related layoffs.
It's now about 5:08, and coming up next in our international news, hundreds stand trial in Italy over organized crime charges. Plus, Portugal goes into lockdown ahead of its presidential election. We'll have those stories and more news from around the world when we come back.
Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio has designed beautiful and functional kitchens and baths in the Northwoods. With in-home consultation available, they provide 3D drawings of your spaces to bring your visions to life. Owner and designer Sarah has over 20 years of experience, overseen 500-plus projects, and built strong relationships with local contractors providing superior installation. Whether it's a new home or a remodel, Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio in Eagle River looks forward to making your dream kitchen or bath a reality.
Our strength, our power, our purpose starts within. So let's start there, with collagen that supports our body from the inside out.
Hello, my name is Terry and I'm from Phillips. I used to go on vacations with my wife Gail, but I couldn't go much over 2 hours and I'd have to stop and walk because my lower back would hurt so bad. So after my final treatment at Spinal Aid, I am pain-free and can't imagine the pain and agony that I went through prior to going.
Are you suffering with back or neck pain and considering the possibility of surgery? At the Spinal Aid Center of Wausau, we incorporate the latest technologies, including high-intensity laser therapy that provides the highest success rates in helping people just like you avoid back and neck surgery. With our treatments, there are no drugs and no surgery, just relief. Call today for a free spinal disc severity consultation and see if our treatments are right for you. Call 715-203-4392 or visit us at spinalaid.com. Start living your life pain-free.
Marilyn Milian, Justice.
Just stop. What you don't know about the law would fill a library. Pay the man.
The People's Court.
All right, we have a lot to unpack this morning. Let's start here with what's been going on over the past several days. More fog this morning, but only across our central and southern counties. Marathon County seeing some reduced visibilities in areas to the south. Areas to the north a little bit, but overall not too shabby. But here's the big story here. Winter weather advisories issued for everyone, excluding Oneida, Vilas, and Forest counties. And this is because of dry air intrusion. We'll break that down in a little bit, but you can see everyone else under winter weather advisories. They kick in later on this afternoon to the evening period. You know that they will expire at around noon on your Friday. So let's zoom things out and give you the big picture right now. There's a lot more with this system right now. The worst of it pretty much taking place right across parts of Minnesota and Iowa again, so we're missing out on a lot of the fun again, as they'll be seeing blizzard warnings, which will cause a lot of travel headaches. And of course, getting pretty breezy off toward the west with all of this here. High wind warnings, we'll get a little bit of gusty wind action, but not as bad as what they're going to be seeing. Meanwhile, this morning, the radar's quiet. We have clouds moving in from west to east, so we're going to call it mostly cloudy this morning, cloudy this afternoon. All this mess off toward the west will be moving in during the afternoon and evening period. Starting out maybe with some freezing rain and freezing drizzle, more in the way of freezing drizzle for our northern counties before the snow moves in from southwest to northeast. So here we are. You can see the system right here. It's really slowed down. It's going to start bowing up towards the north and east as it does over the next several hours. And once it does so, again, it's going to move in from southwest to northeast. You might get lucky and see a little bit of freezing drizzle or freezing rain, but most of this will definitely fall as snow. The heaviest now expected across parts of our southern counties. And so far, we've only seen 21.9 inches on the season. We will work on this to some degree coming up later on today and tomorrow, and a little bit of lake effect on Saturday. How much we'll have to see once we get some official totals in once this all falls. Of course, wind will be the problem too. Wind gusts will reach up to around 30 miles per hour at times, especially as we head towards Friday morning. So any snow on the ground, especially across our central counties, could be a little rough at times too. Otherwise, we also have temperatures to pay attention to. They're starting off cool this morning in the teens and 20s, not too terrible down across our southern counties. We're going to be warm over the next couple of days before we really start cooling down into the 20s for highs, which is about where we should be for this time of the year, and lows back down into the single digits. So let's break this all down here. So this starting to move in now. Then over the next several hours, we'll start seeing this moving in during the evening period from southwest to northeast. And most of this snow, but a little bit of freezing rain to freezing drizzle could mix in, especially with the dry air intrusion, before a lot of this begins to move out of here by Saturday, especially once we get a little bit of lake effect snow. Now the big question, here is the big change, how much snow we could see. 1 to 3 inches across our northern counties and areas to the north and east, now maybe a little bit more in the way of lake enhanced snow there. 3 to 5 inches across our central and southern counties, so we will need to watch this closely as it develops. Today, 33 degrees, a quiet start, then some evening freezing drizzle or freezing rain with a southeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, 29 degrees, snow likely, maybe some freezing drizzle or freezing rain again, and a northeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Your Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. This all wraps up on Sunday. Temperatures cooling off into the 20s, slight chance of snow on Tuesday. Marissa?
Thanks, Devin. Rebels in Central African Republic attacked the capital early Wednesday. Authorities say that they were repelled by forces of President Faustin Archange Touadera and the United Nations peacekeepers. The attack was an escalation of an election conflict. Helped by newly arrived troops from Russia and Rwanda, the CAR army has been battling groups seeking to overturn a December 27th vote, where Touadera was declared the winner despite fraud claims. Witnesses heard explosions and later saw helicopters circling after rebels attacked the outskirts of the city. The United Nations 10,000-strong peacekeeping mission said one of their soldiers was also killed. However, the city appeared calm with security forces patrolling and manning checkpoints. A UN source said around 200 rebels had participated in the attack and they remain close to the city. At the start of Italy's largest organized crime trial, defense lawyers questioned the prosecution of hundreds of defendants at once. Italy is conducting the trial of more than 320 people. It's a heavily defended bunker in southern Italy with seating for attorneys and connected by video link to detention facilities for the accused. The charges including drug and arms trafficking, extortion, and mafia association. The case targets the 'Ndrangheta mob group, arguably the world's richest criminal organization. The group has quietly amassed power in Italy as the Sicilian mafia lost its influence. The organization has allegedly used billions of dollars in cocaine revenues to extend its criminal reach. The trial grew out of an investigation of 12 clans linked to a convicted 'Ndrangheta boss, and more than 900 witnesses are expected to testify. Portugal's government ordered a national lockdown Wednesday, but with exceptions so that a presidential election can go ahead on January 24th. Portugal has witnessed a record-breaking surge in COVID-19 cases since it eased restrictions for the Christmas holiday. Portugal's prime minister said the lockdown would likely last at least a month, and he said beginning Friday, staying at home will be mandatory, including for work, and fines for not complying with rules such as wearing masks in the street will be doubled. Only companies providing essential services can stay open, and financial help will be provided for businesses that have to close, such as restaurants, movie theaters, and hair salons. Schools are to remain open.
Well, coming up in medical news, Lyme disease cases are on the rise. We'll take a look at those numbers, plus why the average American could stand to lose a few pounds. We'll have those stories and more health news when we come back.
Are you worried about going away to college this fall? What if you could get the same college experience closer to home? From the moment you step onto our campus to begin your bachelor's degree, we'll be there for you, supporting your dreams and saving you money. With NTC's new liberal arts transfer degree, you can start here and go anywhere, including a guaranteed transfer to UW-Madison. North Central Technical College. We're ready when you are.
Take a piece of chocolate if you're the tallest. Take a piece of chocolate if you're better at eating your vegetables. Take a piece of chocolate if you love sharing.
How many times have you searched the same thing? What to make for dinner, kid-friendly meals, easy party food. Stop searching and look no further than the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with new recipes every day on Newswatch 12 Today and Newswatch 12 at 6. The Test Kitchen has you covered for every meal, snack, and craving. Now, how many ways can you say, "Ooh, it's so good"? Mr. Food Test Kitchen, brought to you by Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio and Golden Carrot Jewelers.
Why choose People's State Bank?
I'm not used to a response from a bank the way that I got from People's. I like to know who I'm working with. I like to have that relationship. To have somebody there with you, it's reassuring. Without the involvement in People's State Bank, I don't know where we would be, but we sure wouldn't be where we're at.
Make People's your choice. Voted Best Bank and Best Mortgage Company in Marathon County. Stop by a location today or visit us online at bankpeoples.com.
Planning an outdoor winter adventure? You need the app from the weather team you can rely on. The WJFW Weather Watch app, featuring hourly and daily forecasts, high-resolution imagery, and opt-in push alerts to let you know when severe weather approaches. With all these features, you'll know the best days to be on the ice or when there will be fresh powder on the trails. The WJFW Weather Watch app is available in your app store now. Sponsored by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress. Weather Watch 12, from where you live. The Newswatch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important stories from around the globe, local and national sports updates, and weather reports. NBC Newswatch 12. News from where you live.
Now, welcome back. The big story this morning, winter weather advisory is issued for everyone except Vilas, Oneida, Forest, and Florence counties. Some dry air intrusion will really limit the snow accumulations here. However, if you're traveling to our central and southern counties, make sure to watch it as this all moves in. Peter?
Thanks, Devin. Well, an increasing number of Americans are being diagnosed with Lyme disease. That's according to a new study from the Centers for Disease Control. It shows about 329,000 people were treated for the tick-borne illness each year between 2005 and 2010, but that number rose to 476,000 a year from 2010 to 2018. In most cases, Lyme disease can be treated with antibiotics, but more severe cases can cause facial paralysis, arthritis, or chronic fatigue. Another CDC study finds the average American is overweight and on the cusp of obesity. Researchers looked at body measurement data from over 18,000 adults in 2018. They found the average man was 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighed about 200 pounds, and had a BMI of 29.5. The average woman was about 5 feet 3 inches, 171 pounds, with a BMI of 29.7. Obesity is defined as a BMI of 30 or more. As overdose deaths from methamphetamines are on the rise, a new addiction treatment is showing promise. Researchers assigned 400 people with a meth addiction to a placebo or a combination of naltrexone and bupropion. Naltrexone has been used to treat opioid and alcohol addiction, but bupropion is an antidepressant that's also used to curb nicotine use. After 1 month, the treatment group was 5 times more likely to stay clean. People who received the treatment also reported greater improvements in their lives than the placebo group.
It's now about 5:22, and coming up next in sports, the Bucks continued their hot streak with a win against the Pistons last night. After the break, we'll have the highlights for you, plus Devin's travel forecast. Stick with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
Hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Oh, Lord.
The modern farmhouse look is here to stay, and we have it for less at Slumberland Furniture. Start out with neutrals. Use a beige or light gray sofa as your base to build on. Next, mix and match metals and wood. Try adding contrast by using light with dark. Finally, add home-style pillows and unique farmhouse accessories. Play around and have fun. Get your current look for less at Slumberland Furniture.
When you have a house full of kids, your water consumption is through the roof. But when the kids move out, the water usage goes down. But how long are they really gone for? With high-efficiency systems made by WaterCare, Maher Water Corporation can roll with any size-changing families. So call us today so we can help you with those water use issues. The laundry is still up to you.
When you're the victim of an accident, it can feel like the weight of the entire world is on your shoulders. Why not let us take that crippling burden off your back? Habush, Habush & Rotier. We fight for what's right.
Here is the guest host of Jeopardy, Ken Jennings.
Welcome to Jeopardy! Sharing the stage with Alex Trebek was one of the greatest honors of my life. Like all Jeopardy fans, I miss Alex very much. And we can honor him by playing the game he loved.
The legendary run of Jeopardy continues.
I wanted to thank all of you for your kindness as I do my little part to keep the greatest quiz show in the world going.
Jeopardy! Weekdays at 4:30 on NBC 12.
Welcome to Bell Tower Residence. Residents lovingly call Bell Tower home.
You can be as quiet as you want or as busy as you want. There's always something scheduled to do. There's trips to take.
They take good care of the rooms and they take good care of me. Anytime I need anything there, they're right there for me.
And the best part is all the wonderful friends I've made.
Bell Tower Residence, 1500 O'Day Street, Merrill.
Next summer, the Games return for an Olympics unlike any other.
Welcome back. The Milwaukee Bucks have won 5 of their last 6 games, and they were looking to add to that last night as they were in Detroit taking on the Pistons. And the Bucks defense got off to a great start, holding the Pistons to just 13 points in the first quarter. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the team with a triple-double. He had 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. Drew Holiday also had 21 points, and Milwaukee went on to move to 8-4 on the season with a 110-101 win. Up next for the Bucks, they'll welcome in the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow, and tip-off is scheduled for 6:30. So really nice to see that they're picking right up where they left off last season, guys, especially, too, with some other teams having some COVID concerns and some games having to be shuffled around the league, but luckily that has not affected the Bucks yet.
Yeah, luckily, and hopefully, you know, the league can have a good response to that. Obviously, you know, they did really well with the bubble system. Obviously, they're not going with that this year, but I think the NBA has it under control. We'll see how that goes from there. But Devin, won't keep you waiting too long. Looks like you're out there in the cold. Tell us what's happening right now. Here we have some changes in today's forecast.
Yeah, I had to dig out the winter coat today because it's a little cool out here this morning. And yes, big changes in the forecast. And honestly, if you're not happy about it, you're joining the club. I'm not happy about it. I want a lot of snow, and unfortunately, we're not getting much. Let's show you what's going on right now. Where visibilities are again low this morning. The worst of it, fortunately, over in Green Bay, so it's leaving us alone. Peter, if you can run over to the computer and hit space for me, my iPad's malfunctioning, and we can get over to our next graphic and show you what's going on. So we have winter weather advisories that are in effect until noon on Friday for everyone except Vilas, Oneida, and Forest County because of dry air intrusion. Radar and satellite right now showing all this off toward the west, moving off to the east right now too. This will move in later on this evening, but today the clouds will be increasing. Your travel forecast for today, we're going to be watching that snow moving in with middle 30s across the western parts of the state. A little bit cooler for us and a lower to perhaps middle 30s, so a little bit similar. And in southern parts of the state, we're looking pretty good, middle to upper 30s for your temperatures. We'll have more coming up after the break.
The secret to amazing hair? Dove believes you get amazing results when you get the details right. That's why new Dove Hair Therapy range has selected ingredients so potent they instantly nourish damaged hair at a cellular level. 100% smoother hair after first use.
Northwoods Accents, located in Mercer, features a wide variety of high-quality rustic and contemporary furniture, all made in Wisconsin. Complete your patio or deck with maintenance-free outdoor furniture. View our best craft living room sets. Denali throws and beddings to warm the chilly evenings. All products have year-round low prices with no sales pressure. The owner is available to assist you with any questions. Stop by Northwoods Accents, 5079 U.S. Highway 51 in Mercer.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
On December 7, 2005, I was deployed to Baghdad, Iraq. As I was searching for the bomb, the bad guy and the bomb found me first. After the explosion, I was left with a 1% chance of living. During my road to recovery, I had a tremendous amount of support from friends and families and the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes. The primary mission of the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is to offer financial emergency assistance to veterans and their families.
Visit saluteheroes.org to learn more.
Rachel Eiler and meteorologist Andrew Kiekefer bring you the local news and weather from the North Woods alongside the WJFW Weekend News Team. Watch Rachel and Andrew weekends at 10 p.m. on News Watch 12. You're watching News Watch 12 today with Marissa Silvas, Peter Dubois, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. It's Thursday, January 14th. Well, a historic first. The House impeaching President Trump for a second time, making Donald Trump the first president in history to be impeached twice.
The vote coming 1 week to the day after a violent mob took over the Capitol in a deadly insurrection. Nadia Romero is in Washington to explain the vote and what happens next.
Thousands of armed troops keep guard both outside and inside the Capitol, all to protect lawmakers on a historic day, the second impeachment of President Donald Trump.
Today, in a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
Exactly 1 week after the deadly siege on the Capitol, a bipartisan majority in the House impeached President Trump on one count, inciting an insurrection.
We are debating this historic measure at an actual crime scene, and we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the President of the United States.
I cannot think of a more petty, vindictive, and gratuitous act than to impeach an already defeated president a week before he is to leave office.
President Trump denied responsibility for the riot.
Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence.
Unlike President Trump's first impeachment in 2019, this time a handful of Republicans voted with Democrats to impeach.
With a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
Yet most House Republicans argue that impeachment will ultimately do more harm than good.
A vote to impeach will further fan the flames of partisan division.
Although the House has the power to impeach, it's the Senate that holds a trial and can ultimately remove Trump from the presidency and potentially bar him from ever seeking office again. In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Well, the Senate is out of session until next week, the day before inauguration.
That means the trial of President Trump will most likely not happen until the early days of the Biden administration.
That's right. We'll keep you up to date with that. But back here in our area, we're waking up to some major changes in our expected forecast. For more on what to expect throughout the day, let's head right on over to our weather center with Devin Biggs. And Devin, we were expecting possibly 4 or 5 inches of snow, but you said that quickly changed overnight.
Yeah, literally it quickly changed overnight with some new model runs that came in as it's picking up on the dry air intrusion and the system slowing down too. So we got two things working together that's not helping us out at all. Let's show you where we also have fog again this morning. So let's start here. Some fog reducing visibilities in a few spots this morning, but that's the least of our worries right now unless you're driving out in it right now. We do also have winter weather advisories. You can see where Vilas, Oneida, and Forest are not in this. That is because of that dry air intrusion. All of this mess off toward the west. moving in later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. The system has really slowed down, and it won't really start moving into our neck of the woods and start falling until later on this afternoon into the evening period, as it has to overcome some dry air. Temperatures are low out there this morning, so low temperatures also mean some very low dew points too, so we'll have to watch that as we go along. Your bus stop forecast for today, around 17 degrees under mostly cloudy skies as the kids head off to school. As they come home, 32 degrees, cloudy, possibly some freezing drizzle possible. Marissa?
Thanks, Devin. Both the Antigo and Demmer libraries have been selected as 2 of 200 libraries nationwide to participate in a program called Libraries Transforming Communities. This is an American Library Association initiative for small and rural communities. More than 300 libraries applied for the grant, according to the ALA. And the Antigo Library is planning to purchase an online meeting device and kits used for historical context and conversation pieces for older adults. The Rhinelander Rotary is returning as the presenting sponsor of the YMCA Teen Character Awards. The 19th annual YMCA Teen Character Awards will be presented by the Rhinelander Rotary on April 15th. The awards recognize teens who demonstrate the Y's core values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. The Y is currently accepting both nominations and sponsorship for the Y Teen Character Awards. And if you'd like to nominate someone or learn more about the event, you can visit ymcaofthenorthwoods.org. And both myself and Jeff Waller have been asked to host that event. It's something that both of us are very much looking forward to, and it'll certainly be an honor. Well, the EPA has dubbed January Radon Action Month, and according to the Oneida County Health Department, 1 in 10 homes in the area likely has high radon levels. Newswatch 12's Sierra Whaley shows us how to find out if your home is affected and how you can fix the problem.
Estimated 21,000 people in the U.S. die of this every single year.
Many aren't familiar with the chemical radon.
It's a natural issue, so it's natural occurrence. This has been happening since like the beginning of time, but yet 80% of the population has no idea what radon is.
That's Brian Thompson, Vice President of Lifetime Radon Solutions. January is National Radon Action Month, creating awareness about the deadly chemical that could be in your home. He wants his community to know.
This is something that all the healthy food in the world and all the exercise, you can do everything in your life right, but if the air you're breathing isn't good, like, you're in trouble.
The chemical comes from natural decay of uranium that's found in almost all soils. However, you can fix this by getting a testing kit for your home, and if levels are high, experts can provide a mitigation process.
And what we do, which is called sub-slab depressurization, we're actually creating a negative pressure underneath the floor, and we're drying the radon out from underneath the house before it ever has a chance to get in.
The Oneida County Health Department says the month of January is the perfect time to get your homes tested.
January is a great time to test because typically in Wisconsin here, it's pretty cold and all of your windows are shut, your doors are shut, so it's going to give you a really accurate reading of the radon level in your home.
And if you're unsure where to get your test kit, the Oneida County Health Department has plenty for $11, and all you have to do is come right in and sign one out. Thompson says taking that extra step to ensure you and your family are safe is well worth it.
We've been in this industry 23 years. Like, we're huge. Like, we've seen what it's done to people. Like, I've seen people who have gotten lung cancer and died, and their kids have to deal with the house now and all that stuff. And it's a really big issue in Wisconsin.
Something very important to stay aware of. Well, coming up, some news you can use, including how Americans plan to spend their money once the pandemic is over. Plus, gas prices continue to surge. We'll take a look at that. Plus, Devin's tracking the incoming snowstorm, his full forecast when we're back in 2 minutes.
Menards Bag Sale is back and bigger than ever because this year you get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag for 2 weeks. That's right, now through January 16th. Need new tools? Put them in the bag and save 15%. Updating your bath faucet? Put it in the bag and save 15%. Painting? Save 15%. Whatever you need, if it fits in the bag, you save 15%. In store only through January 16th at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
After 40, we need anti-aging care that works. Am I right, ladies?
New from L'Oreal, Revitalift Night Serum with pure retinol. International patent pending. Our most potent retinol. So effective in a clinical test, 100% of women showed reduction of wrinkles.
Even deep wrinkles.
Powerful results validated by dermatologists.
It's an anti-aging superstar.
New Revitalift Night Serum with pure retinol from L'Oréal Paris.
We're worth it.
4 years ago, I had brain surgery to remove the tumor that was wrapped around my brainstem and spinal cord. Very intense pain in my neck, headaches all the time, and permanent vertigo. I came in and I saw Dr. Dave. He did some work on my top vertebrae. The pressure was alleviated and I can actually stand. It's been wonderful and great.
When the atlas vertebra at the base of the skull is out of alignment, it causes the head to come forward, putting unnatural pressure on joints and nerves. We correct this through a new treatment called the Atlas Prophylax, a revolutionary way to realign the atlas, removing nerve pressure and even restoring blood flow. For many, symptoms and headaches disappear almost immediately.
The first thing we do when somebody comes as a new patient is we sit down and we listen and understand what's going on to see if we can help.
And welcome back. We have a lot to unpack this morning, but let's start here where we have some patchy fog moving in this morning, mainly for our southern counties this time, across parts of Marathon counties and areas to the south. Areas to the north, not so much. It's not too bad. We're seeing some reduced visibilities, but it's not too bad out there. This is the big story right now. We have winter weather advisories in effect for everyone except Vilas, Oneida, and Forest counties, because dry air intrusion will be inhibiting our forecast a little bit, so we had to make some changes this morning as things have really shifted south and the system has slowed down too. But here's a good look at the system. So we have the winter weather advisories. This flashing here means new updates are coming in. We also have blizzard warnings off toward in parts of Minnesota and Iowa. Then of course all this here, that is high wind warnings that are in effect. So let's break down what's going on right now. So we have clouds starting to move in from west to east. There's all the precipitation right here. It's pretty much staying there for a little while. It's going to slowly move in and kind of curve from the southwest to the northeast. So right now it's looking more dewy, so it's going to start bowing up. And it's really going to take its time doing so. And it's going to encounter some dry air. So later on today into the evening time frame, all of this will begin to move in. But it's got to move in first and then overcome some dry air. So 2 steps that's really going to inhibit it as this cold front begins to move in. High pressure in parts of Canada. You can see it rotates rotates clockwise, and it's sending dry air in our direction. So this happens a lot when we get systems in like this. And we're going to have this happen again with the low pressure system shifting to the south and high pressure off in parts of Canada. So meanwhile, we're going to be watching the wind gusts too. Meanwhile, out of the south, once we get this starting to move through, it's going to shift more out of the northeast, going towards the southwest, getting pretty gusty at times, up to 30 miles per hour. So that'll cause some problems tomorrow morning. But meanwhile, temperatures, they're going to really change with this too. Right now, they're starting off in the teens and 20s. A big difference, 16 degrees in Rhinelander, 27 degrees in Marshfield. We're all going to warm up. Get this, lower 30s today, middle 30s Friday, and then cooling down into the middle to upper 20s, even lower 20s by next week. And note our average high at 21 degrees. So this is right where we should be for this time of the year. So it's time this out. So it's off toward our west now. It'll be moving in later on. It's really taking its time doing so. The system has really slowed down, and dry air intrusion is going to be a problem too. So our northern counties especially, some freezing drizzle mostly, and maybe a little bit of freezing rain cannot be ruled out either before the snow really begins. Then once the system moves off to the east, we can see this possibly mixing in with a few others too, as dry air will really be the trick to this forecast, which will make the snow difficult to develop. Here we are, 1 to 3 inches possible for our northern counties, Vilas, Oneida, and Forest counties. The heaviest amounts farther off toward the south, so if you're traveling, make sure to keep this in mind. So your forecast for today, 33 degrees, quiet start. There's some evening freezing drizzle or freezing rain possible. That southeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, 29 degrees, snow likely, maybe some freezing drizzle or freezing rain. The winds will be out of the northeast instead at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, picking up late overnight. Your Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Some lake effect snows lasting till Saturday. Then we start drying out by Sunday. Peter?
Thanks, Evan. Well, what are your plans after the pandemic? A new study from Lending Tree finds that more than 8 in 10 Americans who get vaccinated against COVID-19 say they're planning a celebratory splurge sometime in 2021. This tops our consumer news this morning. Most people plan on something like a fancy dinner or a vacation. However, not everyone is quite so ready to spend. 15% of people say that in the wake of the pandemic, they'll never feel financially secure again. More than half say they'll keep saving as much as possible in case the pandemic returns. Consumer prices jumped in December. The Labor Department says consumer prices rose nearly 0.5 percentage point in December, led by a sharp rise in gas prices. It was the largest increase in 4 months. Gas prices surged more than 8%, but remained well below what drivers were paying last year. Inflation for all of 2020 rose a modest 1.4%, well below the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. That likely means the Fed will not raise interest rates for the foreseeable future.
And so the baby boxes take that surrender one step further and gives that anonymity piece that the existing safe haven law is lacking.
Wisconsin looks to reform its safe haven law following the death of an infant. Coming up at 6, find out how one existing program could help.
If you're a contractor or do-it-yourselfer, make Argonne Lumber your first stop. High-quality materials, personalized service, expert staff, and delivery are just some of the things Argonne Lumber is known for. Stop in and smell the lumber at Argonne Lumber, 2 locations in Argonne and Rhinelander.
Stone Innovations, home of Wisconsin's largest granite and quartz selection, is now featuring the best stones shopping experience in the state. Our brand new indoor facility allows for a home-like, comfortable atmosphere. Choose from hand-picked stone from around the world and select the perfect look for your dream kitchen in the best lighting possible. Then sit down with our free design services to customize the look of your kitchen. Our projects come with a lifetime warranty. Stone Innovations, Wisconsin's granite and quartz leader. Appleton, Rhinelander, Clover, Madison.
My name's Arthur, Merrill, Wisconsin. In August of 2019, I started getting numbness in my feet. By July of 2020, my feet were so numb, I lost a sense of balance. I thought I was walking on stilts. I seen this ad for Spinal Aid. I took 20 treatments from them, and by then my feet were 90% better and no longer felt as I was walking on stilts.
Are you experiencing weakness, numbness, and/or pain in your feet or hands? These sensations might even be affecting other areas of your body along with your balance. You might have already been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy and are taking drugs such as Lyrica, gabapentin, or Cymbalta that never seems to help. Neuropathy pain ultimately diminishes your quality of life. Call Spinal Aid of Wausau today to see if our treatment methods are right for you. Call 715-203-1508 to schedule your neuropathy severity consultation or visit us at spinalaid.com.
Mondays on Newswatch 12 today features Mugshot Monday. But what exactly is Mugshot Monday?
It starts with the opportunity to win a 12-ounce bag of coffee, with the coffee being sourced from in between the tropics across the world, then brought in here to Eagle River Roasters and roasted to perfection.
Have a good day.
And with that, you'll also win an Eagle River Roasters coffee mug, perfect for that first cup of coffee with your favorite morning crew.
Join us on Monday mornings to see this week's winner.
Register online at WJFW.com.
Yeah, get some corn.
Oh, cool. Turkey. You got to pick McCutcheon one off the beef trolley.
In a crazy world, you need Cozy TV.
Welcome back. While many small businesses are hurting right now due to the pandemic, One Kenosha Bakery received an outpouring of support from local residents.
Adriana Mendez from our sister station in Milwaukee shows us how social media helped this business out.
Operating a business in the middle of a pandemic has its challenges. For Ann Benson, owner of Oliver's Bakery, she has experienced the struggle firsthand. Ann says after she was denied a second round of PPP loans, she was uncertain about the state of her business.
I looked at my bank account and went, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? I don't even have enough money to pay my employees.
Ann aired her concerns on Facebook about how she feared for the future of small businesses. Although she didn't mention her bakery by name, people in the community knew who she was.
It's overwhelming. It really is. It meant so much to see all those people coming out.
After locals got wind of their struggle, people lined up outside the bakery to show support. The community bought out almost every item in the store.
I opened the doors at 5:30, and by 7:30 in the morning, I was completely sold out. This is just a positive against all the negative that we've had to deal with. And so for me, it's just one more thing why I love Kenosha.
Ann says she is thankful for the community rallying around her. And while this is a temporary fix, she wants to remind people to continue to support small businesses and shop local.
I don't know what my future holds. I'm only saying I'm going to fight as hard as I can to keep those doors open.
How amazing, you guys, for her to sell out in just 2 hours. That's just incredible. And it goes to show that, you know, if you need help, go ahead and reach out. You never know how much of the community is going to come back and really support you and do everything that they can. You know, we can't say it enough. These small businesses need help right now. So whatever you can do to help and whatever the small business owners can do to get the word out that they need that help, it's so important.
No, absolutely. It's a great message. And yeah, of course, now during a pandemic more than ever, it's important. It's always important to support those small businesses, but now they really need our help.
Yeah, give those small businesses a lot of love now more than ever before. And unfortunately, I was hoping we were going to give them some love in the weather department for the snowmobilers. Depends on where you're at with regards to that, because we've had some changes overnight into the forecast as some new data has been ingested, and we're watching some dry air and a slowing system. Let's show you what's going on right now. We have some dense fog advisories in effect for the county's highlight, or not a dense fog advisory, forget that. We have fog in effect this morning for Marathon County and areas to the south. You can tell I'm really used to fog over the past several days. What we do have is a winter weather advisory. That is in effect for the counties highlighted there in purple, and that kicks in later on this afternoon and expires for most of us at noon on Friday. So let's zoom things out and give you the big picture right now. All this is moving from west to east, and it's starting to curve more from the southwest to the north and east. And as that happens, we'll see things moving in later on this afternoon to the evening period as overcomes some dry air. So middle 30s across the western parts of the state. Pretty similar case for us, lower to middle 30s as that snow begins to move in. And the southern parts of the state, 30s are also in the forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break.
The modern farmhouse look is here to stay. And we have it for less at Slumberland Furniture. Use a beige or light gray sofa as your base to build on. Add home-style pillows and unique farmhouse accessories. Get your current look for less at Slumberland Furniture.
Have you ever looked up how much of an appliance is made in the U.S.? At Maher Water Corporation, we use systems that are 90% made in the U.S. In fact, over 80% of the unit is made right here in the Midwest, and 75% of the entire unit is made right here in our beautiful state of Wisconsin. Combining the local made product with a local family company means money spent here stays here. So call us today to meet our Wisconsin-made family.
The people have spoken. Mr. Mayor is a hit.
Twitter has started to notice that we're recycling speeches.
Businesses are the lifeblood. Produce is the lifeblood. Passing of Archbishop Sheehan is the lifeblood. You're killing me.
Mr. Mayor, new tonight on NBC.
When I was growing up, we were told to not see race.
You shouldn't ignore race. You should be aware of how being black affects our daily lives.
Wait, you're black? I thought you were Dominican.
How about Justine trying to sound blacker when she talks to black people?
Oh, that's how you gonna do me?
Colgate Optic White Renewal removes 10 years of yellow stains. That's like all the way back to 2010.
Their jeans, their leggings, their jeggings.
Whoa. Remove 10 years of yellow stains with Colgate Optic White Renewal.
Do you have dry, cracked hands from constant washing, cold weather, and hard work? Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream for guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keefe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet.
Incredible savings on mattresses during the January mattress sale at Slumberland Furniture. Start your year off with a great night's sleep. Get a Sealy Memory Foam Queen mattress for $349. Comes conveniently in a box. The January mattress sale at Slumberland.
You're watching News Watch 12 today with Marissa Silvas, Peter Dubois, and Devin Biggs.
And welcome back. Animals at a zoo in Estonia's capital recently enjoyed winter weather. Apart from the snowfall, the zoo's residents also curiously explored treats hidden in unused Christmas trees distributed to the zoo after the holidays. Polar bears rolled in the snow and kicked around their food. Even the zoo's camel ate snow from the ground, while an elephant tried to pick up and consume a Christmas tree. Get that. The Tallinn Zoo has remained open for visitors over the winter months, but was forced to close its indoor enclosures late last month due to coronavirus restrictions. Nice to see animals, some that are not really used to snow, having a good time.
I love that, especially the polar bear just rolling around on his back, you guys. You know, I was looking forward to putting on my snow pants and rolling around in the snow outside my house, but it sounds like we're not going to get quite as much as we thought.
I know. So many people were looking forward to that, especially today. It was going to be a weekend just hopefully full of snow, but Devin, some big changes happening like really quickly.
Yeah, no, Ken, happening very quickly. I kind of feel like this right now. Just it's ridiculous because we had a good shot at it, and now dry air intrusion and a slowing system. And I get it. I'm frustrated like the rest of the snowmobilers out there because we want snow. We need snow around here, especially to help those businesses out. As we're watching everything tracking off to the east, there is hope for our central and southern counties, though, in areas to the west where dry air intrusion won't be a huge problem. Those areas could see 3 to 5 inches of snow. Here is that map right here. The farther west you go, the more areas will see snow, that 5 to 7 inch plus. Areas out toward Minnesota could see a decent amount of snow. Again, for us, the heavier amounts to the south, 3 to 5 inches. Lesser amounts to the north now, 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. Marissa?
That's right, Devin. Well, I know lots of people are extremely disappointed about that. I think all of us are throwing up our hands and shaking our heads, and you know, but we'll just have to wait and see, and maybe hope that that trend changes once again very soon. Thanks so much, Devin. Coming up next on Newswatch 12 today, Donald Trump makes history as the first U.S. president to be impeached twice.
We've got that story for you. Plus, one program raises confidence when it comes to navigating technology. That's coming up in the next half hour. But first, you're waking up with Newswatch 12 today on NBC.
At Menards, we know how important it is to be comfortable in your home. Upgrade now with comfy interior furniture, and you'll get a free area rug. That's right, get a free 5x7 rug valued at $149.99 with the purchase of any upholstered living room furniture at $299 or more. Find the perfect furniture to fit any decor, from love seats to sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Menards has what you need to start relaxing now. Plus, get a free rug.
Save big money at Menards.
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer. Uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Hi, I'm Dennis from Irma. I've had excruciating pain in my lower back and neck. And I contacted Dr. Scherer. We went over the situation together. And after a series of treatments, my pain is gone. So I feel that it was complete and successful.
Are you suffering with back or neck pain and considering the possibility of surgery? At the Spinal Aid Center of Wausau, we incorporate the latest technologies, including high-intensity laser therapy that provides the highest success rates in helping people just like you avoid back and neck surgery. With our treatments, there are no drugs and no surgery, just relief. Call today for a free spinal disc severity consultation and see if our treatments are right for you. Call 715-203-4392 or visit us at spinalaid.com. Start living your life pain-free.
Are your floors looking worn and outdated? Stop by Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River for all your flooring needs.
View our large selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and area rugs.
We have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Locally owned and operated for over 2 decades.
Come in and let over 40 years of combined sales and service experience help you select the right floor for your lifestyle and budget.
Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane off Highway 70 West, across from Eagle River Cabinets.
Hi, I'm Justin with Miracle-Ear of Wausau.
If you're struggling to hear your favorite news or entertainment shows, stop in and see me for a free hearing test.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, Donald Trump becomes the first American president to be impeached twice. We'll learn more about the final vote from the House that included 10 Republicans. Plus,
if you're hoping for a lot of snow, we have some changes in store and you may not like them. Your full forecast is coming up.
And we'll learn about some tools available from the AARP to help inspire digital confidence in everyone, especially seniors during the pandemic. It's Thursday, January 14th.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 today starts now.
Good morning and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Peter Dubois here with Marissa Silvas. With less than a week left in office, President Trump now holds a singular and unenviable place in history, the first U.S. president to be impeached twice.
10 Republicans voted against him, throwing the spotlight onto the Senate and the possibility of an impeachment trial after the president has already left the White House. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
Laid upon the table.
Sealed in history, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi signing the document making Donald J. Trump the first American president to be impeached twice.
Today, in a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law.
In a single article of impeachment, the president charged with incitement of insurrection for emboldening his supporters before the deadly riots at the U.S. Capitol. The final vote to impeach included every Democrat and 10 Republicans, among them Jamie Herrera Butler.
I am not choosing a side, I'm choosing truth. It's the only way to defeat fear.
The vast majority of GOP lawmakers still lined up behind President Trump.
It's always been about getting the president, no matter what.
But Democrats insist the president brought this upon himself.
Donald Trump is a living, breathing, impeachable offense. It is what it is.
President Trump tonight ignoring the black mark on his legacy while trying to assume the mantle of peacemaker.
No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence.
Meanwhile, the Senate preparing for the possibility of another historic first, the impeachment trial of an ex-president. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we'll have more on how Wisconsin representatives voted coming up in our next half hour.
That's right, but waking up this morning, some big changes in our forecast, Marissa.
That's right. For more on that, let's head right on over to our weather center. And Devin Biggs in for a first check of our forecast. And Devin, you've been talking about the snow all week and things were trending up and then it's now switched.
I know, right? Things were starting to trend up and look pretty good, and now it's like, yeah, right, it's going to just throw a surprise at us. And we kind of hinted at this, but man, I didn't expect it to really just boom, just hit us right overnight either, but that's exactly what happened. Let's show you what's going on. Let's start here with fog moving through this morning. There's no advisories in effect, even though Stevens Point, a little low in the visibility area this morning with a half-mile visibility. Areas to the north looking a little better, but here are the advisories. I think this helps explain the story. Whether there's winter weather advisories, they could see roughly 3 to 5 inches of snow with heavier amounts off toward the west. Where there isn't an advisory, 1 to 3 inches of snow possible, dry air intrusion, helping to change some of that snow to maybe some freezing drizzle, even some small freezing rain from time to time. Here's a look at that radar right now. Everything's moving from west to east overall, and as that happens, it's going to be slow, and we're going to be watching this trying to overcome some dry air as it moves in too. Here's your temperatures right now. Temperatures not looking too terrible out there in the teens and even some 20s. Your remote learning forecast temperatures warming up throughout the day into the lower 30s. We'll be watching for precipitation at around 4 p.m. Marissa?
This week, a 16-year-old from Albany, Wisconsin, south of Madison, was arrested and charged with killing his newborn baby. The incident is helping to renew the push to strengthen Wisconsin's safe haven law. Under that law, right now, a person can surrender their own child within 72 hours without having to relay any personal information. Monica Kelsey created the organization Safe Haven Baby Boxes in Indiana to help promote anonymity for people who want to surrender their infants. Boxes are placed outside of hospitals and fire stations, and when a baby is placed inside, a silent alarm goes off, notifying the department of the drop-off.
And so the baby boxes take that
surrender one step further and gives that anonymity piece that the existing safe haven law is lacking.
Since Kelsey created the organization in 2016, it has since expanded to 4 other states. Within the last 2 years in Indiana, the program received 10 babies.
Part about that is we haven't had a dead baby in our state. And before we launched baby boxes in the state of Indiana, we were having anywhere from 2 to 3 babies left dead in our state every single year.
There are groups that think the baby boxes are a bad idea or that they should at least face some more regulations. Indiana, Arkansas, Ohio, and Pennsylvania have approved them in recent years. Taking you across the country this half hour, former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder is expected to be formally charged in the Flint water crisis today. That tops our look ahead for this Thursday. The Flint Water Prosecution Team will announce its findings in the state's criminal investigation into the Flint water crisis. Former Governor Rick Snyder, who ran the state at the time of the 2014 Flint water scandal, is expected to be charged in the crisis that led to the Legionnaire's disease outbreak that killed 12 people. He faces 2 charges of willful neglect of duty, according to online court records, and also faces up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine. Others in his administration may also be charged. Snyder and others are scheduled to appear in court today, and a news conference by Attorney General Dana Nessel and prosecutors is expected to follow. President-elect Joe Biden will deliver remarks on his COVID-19 plan in Wilmington, Delaware this evening. The president-elect is currently finalizing his coronavirus plan for the administration, and he's expected to unveil his long-awaited stimulus plan today, with those familiar with the legislation suggesting that the transition team is hoping to draw bipartisan support for that bill in Congress.
Coming up next on Newswatch 12 today, the pandemic has forced many people to go online in order to stay in touch with others. After the break, we'll find out about one program that aims to help people struggling with that digital transition. Stay with us.
Ross's Sports Shop is family-owned and well-known as the Fishing Pros in Price County. Book one of our professional guides to learn the tactics that are proven fish catchers in our area.
Music every weekend, never a cover, and drinks priced right. TV, pool, darts, and more. It's Happy's Pub in downtown Woodruff.
How to change the way you pizza. Step 1, grab a delicious Papa Murphy's pizza. Step 2, bake. Step 3, chow down on the deliciousness. Right now, get the chicken bacon artichoke pizza for just $11. Papa Murphy's.
It's a new year, and new appliances can welcome family recipes, shorten laundry days, and keep the season fresh. Right now, they can also help you save on top appliances like these Samsung washers and dryers. Now from the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Northwoods Accents, located in Mercer, features a wide variety of high-quality rustic and contemporary furniture, all made in Wisconsin. Complete your patio or deck with maintenance-free outdoor furniture. View our best craft living room sets. Denali throws and beddings to warm the chilly evenings. All products have year-round low prices with no sales pressure. The owner is available to assist you with any questions. Stop by Northwoods Accents, 5079 U.S. Highway 51 in Mercer.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Join Justin Betty and Jeff Weller evenings at 5, 6, and 10 on Newswatch 12. News and weather from where you live.
And welcome back. Plenty to dive into, but let's start here with the fog that's moving through this morning. It's really causing things to be a little thick now in Antigo and in Stevens Point. So mainly across our eastern counties and parts of our southern counties too, seeing just a little bit. Areas to the north, not so much, a little reduced visibility, so you should still be able to commute just fine. Here's what we're watching. Winter weather advisories in effect for everyone except Vilas, except Oneida, and except Forest County. Because we have changes in the forecast, low pressure slowing down and dry air intrusion, so we may not see as much snow across our northern counties. Otherwise, here are the advisories, winter weather advisories, blizzard warnings, and off toward the west, high wind warnings that are in effect because of this system. So let's break things down right now. So clouds are moving in from west to east, so the clouds will be thickening up throughout the day. Here's all the precipitation still well out toward the west. And it was moving east yesterday, and it's starting to bow more towards from the southwest toward the northeast. Now we can see that right here, and as that does so, it will be moving in our direction as we head towards the latter parts of the day into the evening period tonight. Let's zoom things out. So here's what's going on. So this low pressure system is going to track down toward the south, and as it does so, it's going to encounter high pressure up in Canada. High pressure rotates clockwise. It's going to send some cool, dry air down in our direction. And that's why we're going to see some of that precipitation get eroded or get knocked down to drizzle or freezing drizzle out there. And of course, wind gusts will be a problem too. Gusts that could reach up to 30 miles per hour at times, especially during the morning period. So any snow that is falling will be blowing around. So make sure to plan ahead and stay on any main roads, or just don't travel if you can avoid it at all costs. It'll be a little bit rough across our central and southern counties, where they'll still see some decent snow. Temperatures right now, 19 degrees in Rhinelander, 17 degrees in Merrill, down toward the south, 27 degrees in Marshfield. So temperature is not too shabby today. We'll warm up into the lower 30s and middle 30s Friday before we cool off as that front moves through. A little bit of lake effect snow Saturday. Then we'll be back closer to average as we head towards next week, our average high at 21 degrees. So this all moves in later on tonight. A little bit of freezing drizzle or freezing rain possible across our northern counties. Many other areas could see some as the latter part of the system moves through. The worst of it looking to move through by around this time tomorrow morning at around 5 to 6 a.m. Then we'll see a little bit of that change over to a little bit of drizzle, freezing drizzle or freezing rain, then lake effect snow as we head towards Saturday. Then we're finally going to be done with this system. Here's the big change. 1 to 3 inches of snow possible across our northern counties where the dry air intrusion will be in place. 3 to 5 inches across Lincoln County. In areas to the south, the heaviest amounts will be in parts of Minnesota and the western parts of the state. 33 degrees today, quiet start, then some evening freezing drizzle or freezing rain. The southeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, 29 degrees is all we'll fall to with snow likely. Maybe some freezing drizzle or freezing rain again. That northeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Your Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Snow Friday, snow Saturday, finally drying out Sunday, and beyond a slight chance of snow on Tuesday. Marissa?
During this pandemic, we're turning to digital and financial technology to help us complete everyday tasks like grocery shopping and banking, all without leaving home. Yet there are still millions of people, especially older adults, who lack some confidence in how to use these tools. So joining us this morning is Lisa Marsh Ryerson, president of the AARP Foundation, to tell us all about some resources available to help all of us, especially older adults, become a little more tech savvy while staying safe. Good morning to you, Lisa. How are you doing?
Good morning, Marissa. I'm doing well, and I'm happy to be talking with you about this important topic.
We're so happy to have you here. So first, we want to start out with, why is it important for older adults to increase their confidence in using all these digital tools that are available?
Well, you know, Marissa, I want to share with you some important research that was conducted by the Financial Health Network and supported through a collaboration between AARP Foundation and Chase just in 2019. And it found that despite the fact that those who are 50 and older are using their smartphones and smart devices every day, nearly 2/3 have not used that device in the previous 3 months for any type of financial transaction. And as you noted, our everyday life now, as the pandemic continues, requires that we use digital tools for many, many transactions. So we need to increase confidence.
So, and speaking of those digital tools, you know, so many of us are using them to really minimize outings right now. So how can more of us get a little better at navigating these safely?
Yeah, you're right, Marissa, and I'm glad to hear, and I would encourage all of us to continue to follow the CDC guidelines for our own health and safety and the health and safety of others. And so being able to complete our everyday tasks will increasingly require us to use digital tools and applications. And that means our financial well-being requires using financial technology as well. So I'm really thrilled that with wonderful support and collaboration with Chase, at AARP Foundation, we work together to develop a free library of online tools and resources, Marissa. And this is where individuals can head and should head to take advantage of virtual workshops, of online quizzes, of worksheets that can be printed and used. Really any learning style can be supported on this website. And these tools will help walk older adult users through everything from how you can deposit a check using your mobile phone to how to detect and avoid scams while online.
Excellent. So just so many things available. And like you said, they're free, which is great. So if you do have an older adult in your life, whether it's maybe a parent or a grandparent, how can you help them feel more empowered to use this technology? Because they still might be a little hesitant.
Yeah, Marissa, I'm so glad you're asking this, because we all know in our lives, across our life course, that encouragement and empowerment and celebration of what we're getting right with our skills is really important in education. And I'm a teacher, Marissa, by training, so I would say showing is really important. So for older adults and loved ones in our lives, we can head to that website, fintech.aarpfoundation.org, and learn about the tools that are available, and then walk an older adult through the workshops and series that are video series that are available on the site. Remember to celebrate what's working well for the older adult in your life, and keep celebrating and coaching them forward.
So much good and important information there to pass along, and you've given us a lot of great tools. So just one more time, where can we get all this information that you've passed along to us?
Marissa, and thank you for providing these resources for your viewers. And you can head to fintech.aarpfoundation.org.
Sounds like a really great resource. Coming up, we have What's Trending, including the latest in Girl Scout cookie technology. We'll explain. Plus, helmet cam footage captures one snowboarder's daring escape from an avalanche. We'll take a closer look when we come back.
I'm called to serve and protect, saving lives when I can.
And I'm forever thankful to those who saved mine.
1,000 donations and counting.
I almost lost everything, but I'm here. I'm alive.
There's no greater reward than knowing I've made a difference.
And I'm living proof that a simple donation can make all the difference in the world.
You can help someone with your life-saving gift. Donate at the Community Blood Center and receive a long-sleeved t-shirt. Please schedule your donation today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me introduce me. Here I come. Yeah.
Cuts, colors, braids, and fades. We stand for style. Cost Cutter Salons.
Whether you're just starting out, looking for a change, or returning to the industry, Cost Cutters will help you grow and support you in achieving your career goal. Learn more today at costcutters.com/careers.
Whatever your style, we stand for style. Visit costcutters.com to find your nearest location.
The Vilas and Oneida County Snowmobile Clubs want you to have a safe and fun snowmobile season by remembering these simple guidelines. Always ride right, not just on the right side, but also ride appropriately. Always stay on the marked trails. Never ride alone. Know the snowmobiles you are riding. Wear a helmet and appropriate clothing. Always maintain a safe speed. Use caution when crossing marked lake trails. Learn and use the TINS signs in Oneida and Vilas counties, and always remember that alcohol and snowmobiling do not mix. Stay safe, enjoy the ride, and come back again.
Guys, yay! A new phone's here. I switched to Spectrum Mobile. I'm saving money and I get 5G nationwide. It's literally the smartest thing I've ever done.
You split an atom with the soda bottle and 2 straws.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of an accident.
You found the 10th planet.
I mean, it was just all over the calculus.
You found a cure for hiccups.
Yeah, but nationwide 5G, and I'm saving 40%? Come on. Oh, almost forgot. I figured out time travel, so we're gonna get nuts later.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile, get 5G nationwide, and save up to 40%. It's a better way to mobile. Spectrum Mobile.
At Lenz Truck, we've made the buying experience fast and easy. All our trucks are guaranteed clean, certified, can be bought hassle-free online, and can be delivered right to your door. And when you buy a Lenz truck, know that you're buying the best used truck money can buy. Go now to lenztruck.com. You'll find over 800 used trucks, all priced to move. It's our way of saying thanks to our past and future customers for the last 35 years. Go now to lenztruck.com.
Lenz Truck.
It's close to 6:20 and time now for What's Trending. Well, COVID may make it a little harder to grab a box of Thin Mints this year with people limiting their time away from home. But the Girl Scouts, they have you covered. The organization has launched a special app that helps you locate your nearest cookie booth. So no more hoping that the Scouts are outside your favorite store when you go. You'll know exactly where they will be stationed and when. And if apps aren't your thing, you can also track Girl Scout cookie selling locations on the organization's website. And for those who aren't leaving the house at all, you can also order those cookies online, but you do have to know a Scout who can give you access to her selling site. And you guys, breakfast and dessert are now best friends. Check out the Toast Yay. Yep, they look like toast, French toast to be exact, and they're supposed to taste like it too, which is pretty cool. So it's definitely something I need to try, and it's basically the trefoil cookie that's dipped in some icing. So something new, which is always fun, but I also love the standards, you guys. I can eat a whole row of Thin Mint cookies on my own in one sitting. I also am a huge fan of the Caramel Delights. I like the new s'mores ones, and I used to be a Girl Scout, so I'm so excited that they have these new ways out there so that you're not left guessing. You know, I would always wait and wait and wait for the Girl Scouts to come knocking at my door, and you know, in any year that they didn't, I would be devastated and be trying to go out to the stores hoping that they would be there.
Right, it sounds like a dilemma. I haven't actually had to really experience this dilemma, but I can relate. You know, my sister was a Girl Scout, so I got the in when it came to, you know, all I had to do was talk to her. So that helped out a lot for me, but I can see how this tool is going to help a lot of people, especially right now when a box of Thin Mints or Samoas might be really comforting to some.
Oh yeah, it gives you a good sense of normalcy when you have this available to you, or a Girl Scout cookies and everything. I personally love Girl Scout cookies; they're yummy, and sometimes, honestly, right now would be a perfect time to enjoy some Girl Scout cookies. So, may I have to take a look at this app and see what happens. I know I would love to take advantage of it.
Oh, 100%. Well, the guy in this next story could possibly buy a lot of Girl Scout cookies if only he could access his funds. So imagine winning the lottery and then losing the ticket before you could cash it in. Well, that's pretty much what happened to one San Francisco man. He lost the password to access his 7,000 Bitcoins in 2012. Now, that must have been pretty annoying back then when each Bitcoin was worth $10 or $11. But today, a Bitcoin is worth about $37,000. That means Stephen Thomas has more than $250 million he cannot access. He saved the password on an old hard drive, but that drive only allows 10 wrong password attempts before it locks forever. Now he's got 2 attempts left, and he says he's heard from plenty of people who are trying to help. Because Bitcoin is an anonymous cryptocurrency, the only way to access it is with a password that you set yourself. So forgetting that password isn't uncommon. According to the New York Times, actually about $140 billion worth of Bitcoin appears to be stranded out there in digital wallets. But you got to just feel bad for this guy. You know, he was really smart to invest in Bitcoin early, right? You know, a lot of people who did now seeing that wealth just grow exponentially. But imagine being in that situation, like knowing that it's there for you. I'm sure like the next 2 attempts are going to be very stressful for him.
My goodness, I know you guys, I've had this happen to me kind of on a daily basis, right? We have so many different passwords that we're trying to juggle, whether it's for work logins or to pay bills or whatnot. So this has definitely happened to me where I've totally forgotten what I chose as my password. And I love, too, that people are giving him suggestions. I heard some of the people were asking him, hey, did you try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or did you try password? Which I'm sure he probably never would have chosen those initially. But yeah, you got to feel for him.
I feel for him, too. That is very stressful. I mean, this is why they invented the forgot my password thing. And, I mean, how does that hard drive not have a way to help remember your password? I mean, if I was him, I'd be like, take it to a computer shop or something and see if they can try to help you out in figuring that out, because that is very stressful, and I hope there's a happy ending to this one, because that's a lot of money there. But from one stressful thing to another, incredible helmet camera footage captured terrifying moments for a snowboarder who survived an avalanche after riding it down a mountain. Maurice Kervin and a buddy hiked 2 hours to a spot near Loveland Pass in Colorado. They tested the snow's integrity along the way, but Kervin said he was nervous. That's when things changed, and Kervin was swept up in a huge avalanche. Riding it down the mountainside, you can hear him deploy an avalanche airbag in his backpack, which he says helped keep him from going under. All the while cascading roughly 1,000 vertical feet to the valley below. Amazingly, he managed to escape the incident unharmed. He says it wasn't just the airbag equipment, but also avalanche safety training courses he's taken. That likely saved his life. So, public service announcement, get avalanche safety training.
Exactly. I know, especially if you're going to take that risk, which I'm sure he knew. They hiked, what did they say, 2 hours to find this spot to go. But thank goodness for that safety bag that he had in his backpack ready to deploy. And the video, though, is just amazing to watch.
Yeah, I just cannot even imagine, what he was feeling in that moment, sliding down an avalanche, basically just on top of it. Maybe it was a little fun, but probably a lot more scary. But yeah, that may be the ultimate sledding experience.
Yeah, definitely. That is very scary to say the least. So we do have a little bit of fresh snow heading in our direction. Let's show you the predictions real quick. 1 to 3 inches to the north, 3 to 5 inches to the south. We'll explain more coming up later on. Right now, we'll send it to a break.
Are you worried about going away to college this fall? What if you could get the same college experience closer to home? From the moment you step onto our campus to begin your bachelor's degree, we'll be there for you, supporting your dreams and saving you money. With NTC's new liberal arts transfer degree, you can start here and go anywhere, including a guaranteed transfer to UW-Madison. North Central Technical College. We're ready when you are.
Featherstone, unmistakably Featherstone, far from ordinary, right at home. You have dreams, make them reality. Featherstone, unmistakably, unmistakably, unmistakably Featherstone.
My name's Arthur, Merrill, Wisconsin. In August of 2019, I started getting numbness in my feet. By July of 2020, my feet were so numb, I lost a sense of balance. I thought I was walking on stilts. I seen this ad for Spinal Aid. I took 20 treatments from them, and by then my feet were 90% better and no longer felt as I was walking on stilts.
Are you experiencing weakness, numbness, and/or pain in your feet or hands? These sensations might even be affecting other areas of your body along with your balance. You might have already been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy and are taking drugs such as Lyrica, gabapentin, or Cymbalta that never seems to help. Neuropathy pain ultimately diminishes your quality of life. Call Spinal Aid of Wausau today to see if our treatment methods are right for you. Call 715-203-1508 to schedule your neuropathy severity consultation or visit us at spinalaid.com.
And welcome back. So we're starting off cool this morning, but we do have some weather heading in our direction with some big changes too. Winter weather advisories in effect for the counties highlighted there in purple. note our northern counties are not in this because some dry air intrusion will really limit the snow totals that we will see. Your travel forecast for today, middle 30s across the western parts of the state. For us, about the same thing, lower to middle 30s. And then the southern parts of the state, 30s also in the forecast as the snow moves in. Here's today's Birthday Club.
$9.95 at my age?
$9.95. No way.
$9.95? That's impossible.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, a manager here at Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company, to tell you it is possible. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get life insurance with options starting at just $9.95 a month.
Okay, Jonathan, I'm listening. Tell me more.
Just $9.95 a month. For Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life insurance plan. There are no health questions to answer, and there are no medical exams to take. Your acceptance is guaranteed. You can't be turned down because of your health, even if you have health problems or take medication. Guaranteed acceptance? I like guarantees. Keep going. And with this plan, your rate is locked in for your lifetime, so it will never go up. Perfect if you're on a fixed budget.
Sounds good to me, but at my age, I need the security of knowing it won't get canceled as I get older.
This is lifetime coverage as long as you pay your premiums. It can never be canceled. So you get lifetime security. And for extra peace of mind, you also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So don't wait. Call now for free information. You'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction about your final wishes to your loved ones. And it's yours free. It's our way of saying thank you, just for calling. So call now.
Don't wait. Operators are standing by. Call now for free information and your free gift. Call 1-800-574-0465. That's 1-800-574-0465. Take the first step and lock in your lifetime rate for just $9.95 a month. Call 1-800-574-0465. That's 1-800-574-0465. Call now.
K&S Fuel Injection and Service Center is your source for all vehicle repairs and maintenance. We have the experience and knowledge to get you back up and running in a timely manner. From diesels to cars and trucks, our ASE certified mechanics can restore the dependability of your vehicle. K&S has the OEM diagnostic equipment and tools to repair your vehicle right the first time. Visit K&S Fuel Injection and Service Center in Weston today.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, Wisconsin health officials say a new, more contagious form of COVID-19 has now been detected here in the Badger State. We'll have the details. Plus,
if you're hoping for a lot of snow, I may have some bad news to tell you. Your full forecast is coming up.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters.
And President Trump is now the only U.S. president to be impeached twice by the House. Now the vote moves on to the Senate. It's Thursday, January 14th.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 today starts now.
President Trump has been impeached a second time, something this country has never seen before.
NBC's Tracy Potts is on Capitol Hill, where there's a huge military presence as the city prepares for inauguration in the next phase of impeachment.
President Trump is waking up this morning as the first and only president to ever be impeached twice.
Today, in a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made it official after 10 Republicans joined every Democrat condemning the president for inciting last week's riot at the Capitol.
I am not choosing a side, I'm choosing truth.
If inciting a deadly insurrection is not enough to get a president impeached, then what is?
Most Republicans argued this impeachment was not just about last week, but the end of a 4-year vendetta by Democrats.
It's always been about getting the president, no matter what.
But one of the president's staunchest supporters who voted no blamed him for the attack.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters.
In a videotaped speech with no media present, the president never mentioned impeachment, but urged extremists headed to Washington to remain peaceful.
There must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement.
Now, impeachment heads to the Senate, where Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's undecided on the president's guilt, but there will be no trial before next week's inauguration. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Wisconsin's Republican representatives all voted against the impeachment. That includes Tom Tiffany from Wisconsin's 7th District.
Here's some of what he had to say on the floor.
Madam Speaker, Joe Biden has talked about unity and healing. Is that what this is today? Is accusing Republican lawmakers of sedition and calling for their expulsion the plan for healing?
All of Wisconsin's Democratic representatives, including Representative Ron Kind, voted in favor of impeachment.
If what happened last Wednesday is not an impeachable offense, there is no impeachable offense. I suspect there's going to be bipartisan support this time in Congress for it.
Kind added if this were a secret ballot, he believes the impeachment would have had a majority of Republican support.
A 52-year-old Wisconsin man is among those arrested for last week's breaching of the U.S. Capitol building. The FBI arrested Kevin Loftus on Tuesday in Eau Claire. He faces 2 federal misdemeanors, violent entry, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. The FBI says Loftus posted a Facebook picture inside the Capitol and wrote one of 700 inside. He was allowed to leave the courthouse after his first appearance on Tuesday.
Although while awaiting trial, Loftus must wear an ankle monitor, limit his travel, and cannot use guns or attend protests in person. His next court appearance is set for Friday. So lots going on in Washington, but back in our area, waking up with a major shift in our forecast this morning, Marissa.
Exactly. For those of us really hoping for a dumping of snow, that sounds like it's changed. So for more on that, let's head right on over to our weather center and Devin Biggs in for a first check of our forecast. And Devin, we all want to know, what are the models looking like right now?
Yeah, so stuff has shifted south because we've had the models, the low pressure system has slowed down, and on top of that, some dry air intrusion from Canada. Both of those are working against us this morning as we're watching this system move in, but we're also starting off with some fog too, so let's start there, where visibilities are low across some of our eastern counties now and some of our southern counties, so take it slow if you're in those areas this morning. A little bit of some fog making things challenging. Here's the big change. Winter weather advisory is in effect for almost everyone except Vilas, Oneida, and Forest counties. That's where the dry air intrusion will keep the snow very limited, but some freezing drizzle, maybe some light freezing rain cannot be ruled out. As we're watching all this dragging off towards the east, it won't move until later on this afternoon or the evening time frame as the system is slowing down. And again, we have high pressure in Canada that's really not helping us out at all. So here's your bus stop forecast today. 17 degrees under mostly cloudy skies as you get the kids off to school. 32 degrees, cloudy skies, some freezing drizzle possible as they come home. Peter?
Thanks, Devin. Wisconsin health officials say a new, more contagious strain of the COVID-19 virus has now been detected in Eau Claire County. The DHS says the variant was detected through routine genome sequencing of specimens collected in testing. The variant form of the virus was first discovered in England late last year. The variant has since turned up in Colorado, California, Florida, and a few other states. Health officials say the variant isn't any more deadly than the traditional strain of COVID-19, and early research indicates the vaccines should be effective against it. The U.S. set another record with over 4,300 COVID-19 related deaths reported yesterday, according to the latest numbers from Johns Hopkins University. Meanwhile, Wisconsin saw about 2,100 new confirmed cases, bringing our daily average for the last week down to about 2,600. DHS also reported 37 new deaths, bringing out our average of the last week down to about 30 per day. And in our 12-county north central Wisconsin region, things are looking a little bit better in terms of hospitalizations, with 88 people in our region in the hospital right now with COVID-19, 29 of whom are in the ICU. As we take a closer look at our local numbers, the Oneida County Health Department reports 17 new cases. Its active total is at 189. Since Monday, Vilas County reports 27 new cases with an active total of 151. Price County reported 8 new cases, no new cases in Forest County, 7 new cases in Langlade County. Lincoln County reported 6 new cases, its active total at 105. Marathon County reported 53 new cases, its active total is more than 1,100. 16 new cases reported in Portage County, its active total at 178. 9 new cases in Clark County and 26 new cases in Wood County, its active total at 281. Governor Evers and the Wisconsin DHS announced an additional $86 million in funding for local and tribal health departments. The funding comes from the Epidemiology and Lab Capacity Grant given by the CDC. Each local and tribal health department will receive funding tied to its population. The money is designed to help offset the cost of the pandemic, including vaccine administration, support testing, and contact tracing.
An Oneida County correctional officer has been placed on administrative leave and now faces charges. Police say he gave women information on how to avoid an arrest in exchange for sexual favors. News Watch 12's Morgan Johnson has the details.
Pettit appeared virtually from the Vilas County Jail. He's also facing a charge of misconduct in public office. Pettit is an Oneida County corrections officer and would monitor female inmates at the Oneida County Jail. The criminal complaint shows Pettit had contact with females who had been incarcerated at the Oneida County Jail. Starting in 2018, Pettit reached out to several female inmates on social media. Police say during the inmates' contact with Pettit at his house, Pettit would give tips on how to avoid drug enforcement officers in exchange for sexual favors. But Oneida County Judge Michael Bloom said the evidence presented was weak.
From reading the complaint, it is unclear which individual was the one calling the shots.
Pettit's preliminary hearing is set for Wednesday, January 20th at 4 p.m. His bail terms include a $1,000 cash bond, and he is ordered to have no contact with the involved female inmate. Pettit has been placed on administrative leave. Anyone with information that may assist in the investigation should contact Detective Sergeant Kelly Mormon with the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Reporting for Newswatch 12 in Rhinelander, I'm Morgan Johnson.
Hundreds of National Guardsmen are sleeping on the floor of the U.S. Capitol building. This tops our news making national headlines this morning. U.S. Capitol Police have designated it as a rest area when the Guardsmen are off duty and between shifts. They've been put in place to ensure the safety of congressional members after last week's deadly riots. The Secretary of the Army has authorized the Guardsmen to be armed. Many were seen cradling their weapons. At least 10,000 troops will be deployed to D.C. to provide support for President-elect Biden's inauguration. Airbnb is canceling and blocking future reservations in Washington, D.C. next week in advance of the presidential inauguration. The rental company made the announcement on Wednesday, and full refunds will be offered to guests who had booked a place, and an Airbnb will reimburse hosts for the canceled reservations. Officials have asked people not to travel to the area for the inauguration due to the continuing rise in cases of COVID-19 and last week's deadly attacks at the U.S. Capitol.
Well, as we take our turn to sports, the Rhinelander girls swim team looks to continue their stretch of success. Find out how the team's culture is helping them set new goals. Plus, Devin will have the latest snow total estimates in his full forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Today we're going to show you how to cut. And the funny thing is, we're not using a knife. Stick around and I'll show you what I mean.
Breathe in the bacon.
breathe out the bacon. In bacon, out bacon. Western Bacon Cheeseburger or Famous Star with cheese. Buy one, get one for just $1. Only at Hardee's.
Keeping your family close together in your home these days are important. Let us remodel your kitchen and bath. Kitchen Bath Mart specializes in complete remodels for the past 35 years. From design to install, we'll take good care of you. Stop in or call us today at Kitchen Bath Mart. We're your #1 choice in kitchen and bath remodeling. Highway 70 East in Arborvitae.
It's the 58th running of the World Championship Snowmobile Derby in Eagle River, January 14th through the 17th. The Badger State Winter Games torchlighting kicks off Woody's Friday Night Thunder. Special events include off-road world champion Johnny Greaves, the 100-lap Myra Enduro Race, motorcycles on ice, and much more. For ticket information and future events, head to derbycomplex.com.
Let 8th Street Auto show you how easy it is to buy quality used cars, trucks, and SUVs.
At 8th Street Auto, we believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating our customers the right way.
Our like-new used vehicles offer low mileage and all the features that you're looking for in your next ride.
We're here for you before, during, and after the sale, and you've got our word on that.
Stop in to see our great line of pre-owned vehicles or visit us at 8thstreetauto.com today.
Come on down to Wisconsin Rapids to get your deal of the day.
Be like the famous star. Resilient, meaty, juicy, and other adjectives. Famous Star with cheese or Western Bacon Cheeseburger. Buy one, get one for just $1. Only at Hardee's.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane, Eagle.
And welcome back. We have plenty to dive into this morning. Let's start here with where we have fog moving through again. And it's mainly just across our eastern counties and our southern counties. I just looked at our sky cam at Ryan Leader off camera. We are seeing a little bit of foggy conditions out there, but you should be able to commute just fine. This is what we have our attention to as we have some winter weather advisories in effect for the counties highlighted here in purple. Note how Vilas, Oneida, and Forest and Florence counties are not in this in areas to the north and east. Dry air intrusion has messed with our forecast again as this system is slowing down. We have high pressure in Canada. It's not helping us out at all. The worst of it's going to take place across parts of Minnesota. They seem to be getting lucky lately where blizzard warnings are in effect. And again, blizzard warnings don't really indicate how much snow you could see, but travel will be a nightmare. Meanwhile, high wind warnings are in effect for all of this area here as winds will be pretty strong. Now for us, we have clouds moving in this morning. The precipitation line pretty much right knocking on the door across parts of Wisconsin. It's taking its time moving in from the southwest to the north and east. And again, this low pressure system is going to dive a little bit to the south and east. And as it does so, this weather maker is going to take its time to move in. And once it does so, it'll move in from southwest to northeast, as we can see right here. But here's what's going to happen. This low pressure system is going to encounter some dry air from this high pressure system in Canada. High pressure rotates counterclockwise, sending some cool air across toward our neck of the woods. And that is why the precipitation may fall as a little bit of freezing drizzle or very light freezing rain, so that will miss with the snow accumulations. And of course, this low pressure system will also give us a chance at some gusty winds too, gusts up to 30 miles per hour at times through the morning period tomorrow morning. So make sure to plan ahead for those commutes because they will be pretty nasty at times. Temperatures right now, upper teens to low 20s across our northern counties, excluding Phillips at 27 degrees right now. Same with Marshfield. And most of us will warm up pretty decently today into the lower 30s, middle 30s for your Friday before we start cooling things down into the 20s once we head towards the weekend. And next week, our average high is at 21 degrees, so getting closer to average. Now let's break this system down. It's really going to start moving in during the late afternoon to evening period tonight from southwest to northeast, maybe some freezing drizzle or light freezing rain across our northern counties. Then once this moves in, most of it will fall as snow. You might get a little bit of that dry air intrusion where some of this could mix in with a little bit of freezing rain or very light freezing drizzle at times, but mostly as snow before it all starts moving out of here on Saturday. And a little bit of lake effect possible then before all this tapers off for your Sunday. So here's the big change in the forecast. Now 1 to 3 inches possible across our northern counties courtesy of that dry air intrusion. The better chances for accumulations across our central and southern counties where 3 to 5 inches of snow are possible. There are the heaviest amounts just us off toward the west. So a forecast for today will do 33 degrees, a quiet start, then some evening freezing drizzle or freezing rain possible with a southeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight the snow begins, snow likely, maybe some freezing drizzle or freezing rain, 29 degrees for the low and a northeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Your Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Again, lake effect snow possible on Saturday. We dry out Sunday. A slight chance of snow possible on Tuesday as another system moves in. Temperatures cooling off next week. Marissa?
Thanks, Devin. The Milwaukee Bucks have won 5 of their last 6 games, and they were looking to add to that last night as they were in Detroit taking on the Pistons. The Bucks defense got off to a really great start, holding the Pistons to just 13 points in the first quarter. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the team with a triple-double. He had 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. And Drew Holiday also had 21 points. Milwaukee went on to move to 8-4 on the season with a 110-101 win. Up next for the Bucks, they'll be welcoming in the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow. Tip-off is scheduled for 6:30. The Rhinelander girls swim team took home a state championship in the fall. And now the boys team has their sights set on adding to that trophy case. The Hodags have gone undefeated against conference opponents for 3 seasons. But if you think they're satisfied, think again. The Hodags are going for state gold this year. News Watch 12's Nate Myhawk has more.
From the opening horn to the final wall, Rhinelander's boys swim team is full go.
That's how you get better, is to push yourself to race, and that's what these guys do constantly. Every single day they're racing each other.
A culture of competition that some guys have been around for years.
The brotherhood we have and the team competitiveness means so much, and that's why we've all stuck together throughout the years, and that's why we're the strongest team, I say, in the state.
And while others may be new, it didn't take long to get up to speed.
Knowing each other well and knowing what each one of us can do, yeah, it allows us to be able to push each other to the best we can be.
Although the talent runs deep for the Hodags, they know the ultimate goal requires working on the small stuff.
We're just really into a lot of the technical things that are those tenths that will make the difference between first and second. Finishes, starts, turns.
It comes down to every 100th of a second, and every stroke, there's so much technique that you got to think of.
Now the Hodags are hoping to finish the season with a state championship. They feel this team is ready to do it.
I don't think there's a better team out there to learn how to do the sport, to feel invited, to dominate. It really is the best team we can have, and I couldn't be more grateful.
Now the team's going to be racing at the Great Northern Conference meet in a week, and the state meet is in less than a month. So we'll see if they can hit the podium this year.
That's very exciting. And coming up, a free clinic teaches people how to cross-country ski. But first, Howard's in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for better buttermilk biscuits.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers and Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio.
If you're like me, it's almost impossible to eat soup, chili, or stew without having some kind of bread to dunk in them. And nothing is better than freshly baked biscuits. That way, we can get every last drop. To make them, we start by mixing some flour with baking powder and baking soda, a bit of salt, and a little sugar. After it's mixed, we cut in some shortening and cold butter. If you've never cut shortening or butter into dry ingredients, you do it with a pastry cutter, like this one, or you can use a couple of forks. The idea is to create a coarse crumb mixture, so you end up with biscuits that are super flaky. Now we stir in some buttermilk and mix this until the dough is moist. We roll this out until it's about a ½ inch thick, and with a biscuit cutter or drinking glass, we cut out circles and put them on a tray and bake them off. That's it. In minutes, when they're golden, they're ready to serve. Sure, we can slather them with butter or eat them as is, but I think they're best when they're dunked in any of our comforting favorites. To get the recipe for our better buttermilk biscuits, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found the ultimate dunking way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Northwoods Furniture, Eagle River.
It's a new year, and new appliances can welcome family recipes, shorten laundry days, and keep the season fresh. Right now, they can also help you save on top appliances like these Samsung washers and dryers, now from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Unexpected situation? L'Oreal's Magic Root Cover-Up. 3 seconds to flawless roots. 3, 2, 1. Roots gone. Magic Root Cover-Up by L'Oreal Paris. Need at-home hair color help? Contact New Hair Color Concierge at l'orealparis.com.
Rhinelander Chrysler Jeep Ram. A great selection and great employees equal the greatest experience. 3620 North Highway 47, Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
With this much time at home, it's hard to know what day of the week it is, let alone what to make for the family. So this month, we're changing Taco Tuesday to Taco Tuesday. Get $2 off our 6-pack and a pound any day of the week. To help you with an easy win the whole fam can enjoy. Because these days, every day deserves a win. Taco John's. See you in the drive-thru.
Endurance wants to get you back on the road again, America. Even if you're driving less right now or your car is sitting idle, you need protection. Cars are more prone to mechanical issues when they sit unused for long periods of time, so don't get caught paying thousands for auto repairs. Every Endurance plan gets you 24-hour roadside assistance, and we pay your certified mechanic directly. Call us today for a limited-time relief program to make sure you're protected on the road and off.
Call 800-614-5615.
At WJFW, our News Watch 12 news team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the Northwoods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. NBC News Watch 12, news from where you live.
You're watching News Watch 12 today with Marissa Silvas, Peter Dubois, and Devin Biggs.
Welcome back. If you want to learn how to cross-country ski, you have a great opportunity next month.
The school district of Rhinelander will be hosting a ski clinic on February 13th. And if you don't have your own skis, you can visit Mel's Trading Post before the day of the event to get pre-fitted for a pair to borrow. Now, there's no charge for use of this equipment. The clinic costs $10 per person at the Rhinelander High School trails and fields, though pre-registration is required.
And you can do that at the community section of the School District of Rhinelander's website. So what a fantastic chance for people to get out and learn. You know, there's so many different winter sports to enjoy around here, but, you know, if you haven't tried it before, you might be a little afraid or timid, you know, but this is a good chance to get the basics down.
Yeah, and I love that the fitting is free, and you can borrow the skis for free as well. It gives people a chance to, really the beginners especially, who might not have access to that equipment, which can be at times expensive, a really good opportunity to try it out for once.
Yeah, a lot of that sounds like me. I've never skied before, so this will be very fun to try to get used to skiing, so we'll have to see there. But your trivia question for today, inspired by the weather occurrences today. Let's show you the trivia question. True or false? Dry air intrusion means no precipitation falls. The answer might surprise you. We'll explain when we come back.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Furniture and Appliance Mart.
Here we are, your first trip to Minocqua Popcorn and Puffs.
Cheesy caramel? Cheesy caramel, and I'd like to have some of the Dan's Marvelous ice cream also. Wonderful.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
$9.95 at my age?
$9.95. No way.
$9.95? That's impossible.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, a manager here at Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company, to tell you it is possible. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get life insurance with options starting at just $9.95 a month.
Okay, Jonathan, I'm listening. Tell me more.
Just $9.95 a month For Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life insurance plan, there are no health questions to answer and there are no medical exams to take. Your acceptance is guaranteed. You can't be turned down because of your health, even if you have health problems or take medication.
Guaranteed acceptance? I like guarantees. Keep going.
And with this plan, your rate is locked in for your lifetime, so it will never go up. Perfect if you're on a fixed budget.
Sounds good to me, but at my age, I need the security of knowing it won't get canceled as I get older.
This is lifetime coverage as long as you pay your premiums. It can never be canceled. So you get lifetime security. And for extra peace of mind, you also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So don't wait. Call now for free information. You'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction about your final wishes to your loved ones. And it's yours free. It's our way of saying thank you, just for calling. So call now.
Don't wait. Operators are standing by. Call now for free information and your free gift. Call 1-800-574-0465. That's 1-800-574-0465. Take the first step and lock in your lifetime rate for just $9.95 a month. Call 1-800-574-0465. That's 1-800-574-0465. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dean Hoger with Miracle-Ear of Rhinelander. If you're struggling to hear your favorite news and entertainment shows, stop in and see me for a free hearing test.
Good morning. Coming up on Today, what's next after the historic second impeachment of President Trump? And when will the Senate hold a trial? Could it overshadow the start of the Biden administration? We'll have the latest live from Washington. Also ahead, a first-hand look at the personal challenges facing teachers in the pandemic and a unique program that's helping both them and their students be their best. Plus, a wild story on a forgotten password, the man who cannot remember it and has just 2 chances left, or he'll lose $260 million. Our interview with him. And music superstar Gwen Stefani joins us live and shares a fun performance of her new hit. We'll have that and more with you in just a little bit right here on Today.
And before we leave you this morning, a special birthday shout out to our Minocqua Popcorn winner, Dylan Meister from Rhinelander. Happy birthday, Dylan, and congratulations. You win a half-gallon bucket of gourmet popcorn from Minocqua Popcorn.
And your trivia question for today, true or false? Dry air intrusion means no precipitation falls. What do you think, Marissa?
Well, you know what? You say that the dry air intrusion is coming, but we're still going to get a little snow, so I'll say false.
And that's why I'm also going with false.
And indeed, but there's also some changes that can occur with dry air intrusion. You can also get drizzle or freezing drizzle, so it erodes the snow out, helps to kind of mess with the formation. So you can still get precipitation when the dry air moves in, but of course it does limit the snowfall too. So answer is false. We're watching this snow system moving in from southwest to northeast now, which has prompted winter weather advisories in effect for everyone except Oneida, Vilas, and Forest counties, as that dry air will keep the snow levels below advisory level criteria. How much snow could we see? 1 to 3 inches possible across our northern counties and 3 to 5 inches across our southern counties. This continues into Saturday's lake effect snow and wraps up Sunday.
Alrighty, still be careful out there on the roads, but enjoy that snow. We're happy to have it.
That's right, and you can stay with Newswatch 12 to follow any changes in the forecast today. Thanks for watching.
Your latest news and weather tonight on Newswatch 12 at 5. Good morning. Impeached again. President Trump's fate now in the hands of the Senate after another historic vote on Capitol Hill.
He must go. He is a clear and present danger to the nation that we all love.
Every House Democrat and 10 Republicans leading the charge, but 197 GOP lawmakers backing the president.
It's always been about getting the president, no matter what.
All eyes now on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. How will he vote in the trial, and will Republicans follow his lead? What he's saying about his next moves and how President Trump is responding this morning. High alert with warnings of new armed protests. More troops now in Washington than in Iraq and Afghanistan.